So, here we are with Matthew with 1T, who is a self-confessed brony, if that's fair to say.
Fair enough.
Can I ask you, what attracted you to the brony fandom?
I suppose the first thing that stood out was the fact that there were several images being posted on websites, and the thing that stood out first was, hey, one of those ponies looks like Stocking from Panty and Stocking. And then I noticed that the images themselves were funny, and I thought, I'll see what the show's like. And then I watched all of the episodes that were out at the time, and then I became a fan. That's basically the beginning in a nutshell.
Okay. So what were the first episodes that you watched? Like, what was the, how soon did you come into the fandom?
I think how soon I came into the fandom, probably it was midway through season 1 airing when I started watching, but I watched like episodes from 1 onwards, like I started from the beginning.
And what would you say are the positives? Because it's obviously a very big fandom, so what would you say are the positive things about the fandom?
Well, positives, I would say that the friendships I've made through this, like I've been to some brony gatherings before and they've been fun, and I've made several friends through those gatherings that I am friends with for different reasons now as a result.
And what are the negative sides of the fandom? Because obviously it has quite a bad rap in the public sphere.
The negatives are, well, the same negatives I have with most fandoms. The most vocal towards people who aren't in said fandom are always the most annoying, the most cruel, I suppose is a good word, but, the people who make people say, ugh, I hate those fans of that franchise. This can be applied to every franchise, and unfortunately, most things that I like fall into that category.
Sorry, if you could elaborate a bit more on what they did, because, sorry, it's a bit vague on what they...
No, I'm just bad at explaining. I'm trying to think of a good way of...
I mean, if I may interject here, obviously I understand that not all bronies are like this, but you see quite a few threads on 4chan about people with Clop Clop, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So what would you say about those who came into the fandom primarily through or for Clop Clop? Also, if you could just explain what Clop Clop is for...
You're asking me to explain something that I don't follow so much. Yeah.
Well, obviously, if you're a mainstream fan, then we need to...
Oh no, of course, it makes sense that you're asking. It's just that it's something that I'm bad. I don't know. I tend to avoid that particular area of the fandom. I tend to stay in sections of a fandom where I can have good conversations about things, and trying to avoid the ones that are like, I'm sure someone else has given a much better explanation than I have, or will give a better explanation. But I guess if I could, off the top of my head, give an explanation, they are not something I expect, but in hindsight, something that makes sense.
I mean, would it be a fair assessment to say Clop Clop is the pornographic side of the fandom?
Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it.
And do you feel that, because obviously we see one of the main issues that people tend to have with bronies is that they're very pushing with the idea that My Little Pony is a good show, and like we see people give lectures and stuff like that at their universities and colleges about it. Would you discourage that behaviour or encourage it?
Sort of half and half. I think it's good to introduce people to a new franchise, something that you personally like and you think someone else would like, but at the same time saying, you have to like this, and someone says, oh, actually I didn't really like it. No, you have to watch it again, but think this in your mind. No, just, if someone doesn't like it, that's fair enough. That's what they don't like, it's what they don't like. And I'm sure you don't like something that they love, and that's just how things are. But as with all fandoms, people don't really understand this, and probably never will.
What would you say are the appealing elements of My Little Pony to adults? Because obviously it's a show aimed at, well, to be blunt, little girls, like primarily its audience.
Yeah, that is the target audience.
Yeah, so what would you say elevates it beyond just a show for young girls?
Well, it is very much, I mean, this is a very cliche answer, but it is the characters, the writing, stories, basically, as a show on its own, regardless of what the audience is, what audience is watching it. It's just an enjoyable series from my perspective and the perspective of others. That's the core element of why to enjoy a show. It's just that because it has the aimed at little girls elements, there is that extra special approach to it that people have. They say, well, you know, this is especially great because of its target audience or because of where it comes from. But, you know, with that in mind, yes, that is true. But at the same time, at its very heart, it is just an enjoyable show that I like. And some people do go a little overboard.
Has it had any positive implications on your life, would you say?
Well, as I said before, I have made several friends as a result of going to Brony gatherings or just wearing this T-shirt. Amusingly enough, when I went to Summer in the City a couple of years ago, which was just a YouTube event, I got recognised not for me as a person, but because I was wearing this very T-shirt. Someone who actually I watched on YouTube came up to me. We had a fun exchange and became friends as a result. And through him, I made even more friends. And it's just a really cool chain of events that have led to me having a huge friendship group that I am really pleased to have.
Have you experienced any negative side effects? Obviously, there's a lot of persecution, as it were, of bronies by people on the internet. Has this ever happened to you?
Not so much in real life. Like, I've occasionally worn a shirt and someone's like, ugh, but I've come to expect that when putting on the T-shirts. But for the most part, any negative things I've encountered have been online, and, well, I've encountered much worse, both on and offline, so it's not that bad for me, but for others it can be a little harder to deal with.